Can ADHD kids really learn how to follow instructions the first time? Yes, they can. This video is all about how to get ADHD kids to listen. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about ADHD and listening. In this video, we're going to talk about why people with ADHD often struggle to listen until they're taught, and what we can do to teach them to listen the first time. ADHD doesn't mean being an out-of-control person. It just means that you need more structure. And an ADHD person, even though they have a tendency to get distracted, sometimes even hyper-focused on something and not be able to pay attention to other things very well, doesn't mean that they can't learn to tell themselves what to focus on, and they can't instruct themselves to listen. They absolutely can. For many, many years, I did therapeutic treatment care for troubled children. They came to my home, and many of them, most of them, had ADHD, ODD, RAD, ASD, kleptomania, compulsive lying, anger control issues. They had high levels of anxiety and lots of addictions and things that they were overcoming. And it was my job as a treatment foster parent to help them get back to a normal baseline so that they could launch from my home and be able to succeed in the world. Some of them even launched from my home into adulthood and had to live independently. So they couldn't be living with excuses. They had to have skills that would lead to success. So no matter the age of the person, you can teach someone how to follow instructions, accept no answers and criticism, accept consequences, and disagree appropriately, even if a person has ADHD. So why do people with ADHD struggle a little bit more to listen, especially the first time? Well, sometimes they're focused in on something. If your version of ADHD is the hyper focus, you might have tuned everything else out around you. So this means that the parent or person who's trying to get their attention is going to need to come and instruct for eye contact first. And they're probably going to have to be able to accept a no answer from whatever they're focusing on before they can follow the next instruction. So you first might say, I'm going to give you a no answer. Remember to accept a no answer. These are the steps, and there's 4 steps to accepting a no answer. So you would give them those steps. You would tell them what the no answer is, that no, we can't look at that game anymore or read that book anymore, or whatever it is they might be looking at the time. Then you're going to praise them for that, then move on to pre-teaching for the instruction that's coming up next. The pre-teaching is the key. So in the teaching self-government style of parenting, where the parent's learning self-government and they're teaching self-government to their children, we use 5 different teaching styles. One of the most effective teaching styles, especially with someone who has ADHD, is the pre-teaching teaching style. There are 3 different types of pre-teaching. I'm going to focus on just situational pre-teaching in this video. So when a person does situational pre-teaching, they say, okay, this is the situation. I have a no answer for you, or I might have a no answer for you, or I have an instruction for you. So they're telling them ahead of time what's coming, and then they say, do you remember how to follow an instruction, or do you remember how to accept a no answer? And hopefully they've learned all of their 4 basic skills of self-government, and so they know those skill sets, and they can tell you the steps to following an instruction or the steps to accepting that no answer. Then you can praise them for that and have them have eye contact with you, because that's one of their first steps that they have to do for either one of those skills. And then you say, I need you to, whatever it is, take your dish over to the sink, or do your chore, or go to bed, whatever the instruction happens to be. Well, at that point, they should follow through with all of the steps. Now, it is hard for a person with ADHD to overcome the anxiety of being disrupted when they are focusing on something. Or sometimes they are so distracted on everything happening around them that your voice is just one more distraction. All the more reason to make sure that they look at you when you are talking with them. Give them that opportunity to look at the person. When a person with ADHD does not follow the pre-teach, does not follow the instruction or the no answer, then you might need to do a correction. So there are 7 steps to doing a proper correction. And at the end of this video, I'll give you another video you can go to learn about that. But when you correct the behavior, so even if this is something that's like they're neurodiverse, it seems like they can't help it, if you're pre-teaching them and then instructing them and they're looking at your eyes and they say okay, they tell you the steps, but then they don't do it, or they don't say okay and they ignore you or something like that, you absolutely must correct them. The thing that happens so often with children with ADHD is they are trained to use the ADHD as a crutch because the adults in their life will let them have a free card for it. It's like a free pass. Like, oh, well, you have ADHD, so that was probably hard. Well, you have ADHD, so that skill was probably hard. Instead of saying, no, we got to learn this skill. This is a skill for life because it is. It's just an adult skill that everyone can learn, and you can learn it when you are very, very young. If a toddler, if a baby who doesn't even have all of their verbal capacity yet can learn these 4 basic skills, your child with ADHD can learn them as well, because there is hardly anyone more anxious than a baby or a toddler. So when you do the correction, do it with confidence and calmness, and then your child will actually succeed better at remembering to listen the first time. If you just remind and nag, they will not listen until you get to that place where you've almost had it. You will train them to do that. So you have to teach them that in order to help them, you will correct them every single time, and you're not going to give them lots of reminders. So I'd love for you to have the steps of that correction and more understanding of the skills and principles of self-government, because you'll probably need them. So go to my next video. It's a full-length class about the skills of self-government. It is called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video next. I'll see you there.